I think actually a good thing to do, because Jorge and Ray, you guys don't know each other. So maybe you guys could each take like 60 seconds, 120 seconds. And
Jorge, you have the honors. Go first.
All right. Gosh. All right. Thanks for putting me in the spot. So I guess my my main thing, I guess, that I would do here is I teach health. I don't exactly do it as a business, although I did start a business. I started more as a passion. Just had a really funny way that I learned gut health, because I used to teach how to brew beer, which essentially taught me how to grow probiotics, and that's what gut health is. It's probiotics in your gut. So anyways, I have this whole project going on with that, and decentralization became really important to me because of the nature of the topic of gut health, talking about vitamin D and seeing how a lot of healers and people that actually talk about good things related to health are being censored. I was looking for ways to share the knowledge, and so here I am. For that, I also do some marketing, and I'm involved with like real estate. But that's basically the short version, I guess, of me.
Nice. I'd like to talk to you about the gut health stuff, definitely.
Actually, if I want to add, like the body is pretty decentralized too, right? It's like you have the old paradigm of you have a brain and that makes all the decision, but of course that's a projection of our society on the body. Like I'm sure you know a lot about that too, so it's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because that's actually one of the things that I'm talking about in my book that I'm writing. It's essentially like it's one thing to learn about gut health and learn how to take care of your physical body, but there's definitely a mind-body connection, and they work together. Like the better you take care of your gut health, the better your mental health will be, and the easier that I find it to meditate, to to achieve like deep levels of meditation, the better my sleep is. The more consciousness and awareness I feel that I get, the more I clean and detox my body. So there's definitely a relationship there.
I'll also add, Alex, I don't know if you have encountered this yet, but the whole premise of Holochain is to return to like the decentralization. Yeah. That's super exciting.
But yeah,
cool.
It's replicating nature, right?
Yep, exactly. It's pretty much all I do is just observe nature, and it's like, oh, that's how that works. Okay, that's how gut health works. It's just fermentation. It's natural.
How about you, Ray? What would be a little intro you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, a little intro of me. Just kind of traveled the world and was seeking like-minded tribe from around the world. Had an awakening back in 2016 and saw a vision of the future and what I believe to be our destiny, and just dedicated my life towards that. So bringing heaven to earth, I do believe that it's in our lifetimes and we're going to create it. So just activating that network, bringing that network together, and bringing those tools to help create that. So crypto is going to be part of that, but not per se in a crypto, but new energy, new ways of organizing. And yeah, that's what I'm mostly focused on, but I have other experience in retail products and real estate. I'm getting a little bit more back into right now. And yeah, the project is probably going to involve land acquisition and projects and things like that. So yeah, happy to be part of this crew. It seems like everybody's like on the same vibe. I met both of these guys at different mastermind groups, and yeah, always had a deep connection right from the beginning. Just same vibe, same tribe, and excited to see what this group brings together.
Also super cool to note, thank you, Ray. And it's also super cool to note that you're both in America.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Whereabouts are you?
Arizona for now. I'll be in Colorado at the end of the month.
Nice. Permanent Colorado at that point?
For a few months, and I'll probably come back to Arizona for another few months, and then I'll probably be going back to Colorado.
Nice. Yeah, there's some good movements. Colorado seems like a hub. I'm in Chicago now, but going to Florida and possibly Texas. So definitely getting out of Chicago area, even though the burbs are really nice, but just headed more freer pastures.
Interesting. Yeah, I hear about it, but cool. Yeah, let's connect after the call, and looks like we got something to talk about.
Definitely.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, for the call today, what we're doing is we kind of have a roadmap and things we're looking at, and we have a flexibility depending on, you know, the leaders that emerge and can take on roles. So I can share with you a few topics I noted, but we don't have to go directly into it. Also, just before we get started, would you guys be cool to take a minute to tune in?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what we can do, if you're in a place where you can do it, is raise your hand and inhale and exhale like this. And we can do that 30 times. And we can keep our eyes closed and put our hands on our heart and feel the gratitude for something very simple, being alive, our heart beating. And take 30 seconds to feel the gratitude. And taking another 30 seconds to feel what it would be like to inhabit that new earth full of abundance, full of love. And slowly opening our eyes.
Ray got so embarrassed he dropped his phone.
So sharing some gratitude for you guys for co-creating that together, all of us.
Yes, aho, brother.
Okay.
Yeah, no, anchoring that in, I appreciate that that guided experience. Thank you for that, Alex.
Yeah, I love it.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's super key. I think embodying that frequency is where it starts with first, you know. Seek that place, seek that, you know, it's in the Bible. Seek the kingdom of heaven and all things shall be added onto you. It's like, you know, set our minds on that heaven and put ourselves in that vibration, and then we bring it down to earth. So
yeah, love it. Yeah, so coming back to it, a few things we've been looking at. Jorge is working on a new website, so that can be quite exciting to for people to have a better window of what we're doing. We've been looking also, so on the window, I have a nice website, and then how we organize ourselves. So on this, we've created something called Notion. We can share more, but basically it's a place where you can find the accounting, the business roadmap, the tokenomics, all these things, which would lighten up the Discord. The Discord's to discuss things, but then if you want to look for information that's steady, you don't have to scroll through a chat. It's in a different place. So how we organize as a team, how we present to the world with the website. These are two things. Third one is how we govern. So I've registered for a beta version of using a DAO with rules we can set up with seeds. And we've met with Josh and Oliver, who are like, they're part of it. They're not here today, unfortunately, but really experts in designing decision-making processes for decentralized organization. And the last two things is tokens. Can discuss about where we're at with the token, and roles, especially for the four of us, like what roles do we want to take? I think everything will get easier as we get more organized and structured, because now we're still in that phase where we're figuring out things, but then as we go, we want to have roles and teams and trusting people take care of something, because we don't want to be an old paradigm hierarchy. We also don't want to just be like consensus on every small decision. We want to be effective too. And so I think it's really key to start seeing, okay, who shows up and who wants to take roles according to that. We have a list of people who filled the form after the online meeting, and people who also been following up. So yeah, it's I feel getting more clear. So that would be the 5 things. I'd love to know everyone's kind of reaction on that. Is there like a certain topics they want to add or prioritize for today? You're muted, right?
I just wanted to add something to that. You know, I like the idea of hierarchies, but I also think that, you know, there's some more dynamic ways of doing it. And one thing that I had envisioned and drawn out before that I'd like to see in some different organizations I will be putting together is like divine councils. You know, it's like having a core team with each person having a strength and us coming together in that core council. And then each one of those councils could be like, there could be subgroups connected to those, you know, like in a different way, because you want to have one cohesive vision, you know, that people are coming on board with, you know, kind of, I think.
So this is in direct alignment with something that we're also talking about in terms of structure and eventual roles, is developing like an overarching master plan for the Lightleaders Mastermind as an entity, and then within that, like subdomains will kind of naturally start manifesting themselves based on where we see a need to build the foundational structure, right?
And so, you know, before we get too much into details, I mean, we can consciously choose to go into details about governance right now, that it should be the topic of our call.
Yeah,
like we made a conscious decision rather than a way that the conversation, you know, goes without a clear intention. Yeah. So we can, but then my understanding from it, right, because we also have 2 other people we talk to on that, is that you would love to be included in the talks around governance and creating new paradigm organization and how we make decisions on that. Am I correct?
Yeah, I could definitely contribute to that.
Okay.
I appreciate you paying attention to the meta conversation and directing us back into, you know, a different alignment.
Yeah, thank you. And ultimately, I was just saying that the structural outlook that we are already kind of entertaining is in alignment with what you were alluding to.
Nice.
And I think for me, and Ray kind of pointed out to this, and he said to have like one cohesive vision that all people are coming on board with. I think that's probably like what I want, what I think we should start and discuss, because it's kind of going to start like with why are we here? What's like that ultimate vision? Like how do each of us basically see the Lightleaders Mastermind evolving? Like, what's it going to be at the end? What are people getting out of it? What are we really contributing? You know, get like the more clarity we can get on that, you know, the better. And, you know, for me, like, since I'm going to be doing a lot of the marketing, that's basically what I need to come up with. But I don't want to come up with that by myself, right? I want everyone to basically share in. And so I think, like, for me, that will be a good place to start, and that can piggyback or lead into pretty much all the other topics.
I agree.
Okay. So on this, then it's like, I think there's something we need to work on the governance. That's kind of a unit. We can do a workshop. How do we make decisions? How we create new paradigm organization? And then probably before even, we also want a workshop where we invite some of the community to discuss. That's why I don't necessarily want to decide things now, but we could say, okay, there's going to be like a vision, value alignment, and the idea is to put together some kind of document, probably, which is stating these are our values, this is our vision, and we can all agree on that, right?
Right.
Yeah. I think
like
go ahead.
with us, and since we're the ones that are showing up to these, we should probably like start something out, and then people that watch the replay can get ideas and maybe say like, oh, okay, that's what they're talking about, and then they can add. Like, feel free to you know, if you have something totally different that doesn't fit with what we say, feel free to show up and, you know, message us and say, hey, here's what I'm thinking about the mastermind, kind of thing.
So here's an idea. We could do what Jorge was just saying and get like a 20-minute brainstorm session recorded. We could also create like a series of questions, like 2 or 3 kind of form, pose it to the group that would, in answering the questions, kind of begin to highlight what each individual's vision is. And then based on that feedback, we could then have a call inviting people to like further discuss that, you know?
That's cool.
But it could also be very powerful to have something already started in terms of like what
in terms of role, we could decide here, okay, who's kind of taking the lead for now. And of course, it's not like you make all the decision, it's more an organizing thing, but maybe Jorge, you could be the person that stewards for the moment that project of, you know, and you can tell us, okay, what I see is, and you ask us for advice. So, okay, good idea. You know, I can put up a form. Alex, can you help me do a form? And Raid, do you want to brainstorm a bit before so we have something and have like a 2-week process? I don't know. In 2 weeks, we come up with that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 weeks meaning what did that mean exactly?
I think it's
that was just an example of having maybe Jorge, if you put your hand up to do that, to come up with kind of a proposal to how it's going to look like, without, you know, making it too complex and going too much into details, but a little roadmap, let's say.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. You know, and besides the calls, you can have something where people can, you know, put up suggestions or even questions, and those things could be upvoted and downvoted so that, you know, like if a lot of people agree with that, you know, it kind of gets up there, you know, just different ways of automating, just an idea. But yeah, I think that's good. I think you guys should start with, you know, you guys got to start with the essence, you know, of, you know, where it's headed, you know, and it's like, you know, even this meeting right here could be the seed of that as well, you know, and because you got to have somebody kind of driving it. You guys were the ones creating it in the first place, you know, so you don't want it to evolve away from what you intended it to be completely, you know, if you're going to be happy to work in it. That's why I think it's like,
I agree that the 4 of us could start something here and have like already a seeds.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, I didn't mean to send that, but here, I'll type. I think a good place to start is for us to do a quick little 10 or 15-minute brainstorm.
Okay, so just again, before we dive into it, we have potential talks on decision making, but that would include Oliver and Josh too, so maybe this call isn't the best. Then we have being more clear on our essence and our vision, and potentially this call could be a great time to get started. Like we could dive into it now, or I would maybe, let's see, are there other things we feel like covering in this call, just to be intentional about it?
I'm cool with this topic. I think Jorge brought it up. It seemed like that was primary for him, and I think it is kind of the core, but if you have different suggestions, we could hear it. But you know, I think you want to start at the beginning, you know.
Sounds good to me.
I don't know. We're waiting on you to confirm that.
No, I think that's a good thing for us to do right now. And then to try and get Josh and Oliver on board for like larger level internal structural development.
Cool.
I'll try to kind of guide this a little bit and maybe help you guys out. So basically, from watching like some of the videos and what I hear you guys talk about when you talk about the mastermind, the kind of like the main essence of it that I hear from you is that you want to bring together healers and basically to help create and manifest a new earth. That's in like the broad terms. And so what I would like to do is to unpack that a little bit and maybe share more of like, what does that actually look like for you, say 5-10 years down the road? Like, what do you envision happening? Like, what kind of people are joining the mastermind? What kind of, projects are we taking on? Like, how are we monetizing? Are we monetizing? Like, what's like the role and purpose? And, just unpack that idea a little bit more for us.
So let's work backwards then from a BHAG, the big, hairy, audacious goal, and in the terms of what me and Alex have discussed, it's establishing our own sovereign nation. And having all the pieces in place ready to do that, so that like when we do have land available to build a nation on, we can just kind of like, the mastermind can just kind of like,
I would add to this, to me it's a twofold thing, is like it's going towards, and it doesn't have to be the Lightleaders nation, it's a fluid thing that can combine other movements, but it is using that project as a pilot to get sovereignty towards even being a nation, but also as an entity itself, but like an ecosystem itself, but also as a way for other ecosystems to replicate that. So the idea is, for example, that this becomes a nation, but also that this paves the way for 1,000 other ecosystems that are also in the same vibe of consciousness, that create slightly different things, but around a similar paradigm. So it's to be part of that creation of the new paradigm. And I precise that because it's different than being an isolated conscious nation behind walls in a crazy world. That's very different. The idea is to do that in harmony with helping the rest of the world do that too.
Yeah.
And maybe nation is not the right word, maybe it's something different, but definitely going towards a sovereign community in a big ecosystem with a lot of sovereign conscious ecosystems too, and communities.
And so then I think a powerful next step is for you guys to riff off that and add or tweak anything that you have in terms of like a BHAG, if we'll call it that.
Yeah, I'm on another group kind of thing that are also trying to do a nation as well. I think that's the idea, that there's going to be multiple of that happening, and I'm definitely of that vision. I really feel like literally like, what people call the 5D or heaven on earth, that it's going to come here, and the chaos and everything else is going to go away. So I think it's important to have parallel systems to what's going on, and even branching out of them. I mean, that's a separate conversation. That's like where my vision is. But for me, the Light Leadership group is like, a bunch of people coming together in that same vibe of, hey, the world currently is not great. There's a lot of darkness, and we're trying to bring light. We're trying to, create communities of light, support. I see that heaven on earth is a unity consciousness, is helping one another to become sovereign creators, and to help each other, become the greatest that we could be. Because when we bring our gifts into this world is when we create abundance. And it's we are the energy. And right now, money is the, prison that we, use, that's used to like keep us organized. But I feel like it's just like a mental shift away from literally just creating heaven on earth. The technology is all there in the ether, like waiting to come down. It's our inheritance. So it's all there. All the power that the darkness has is just part of that divine system, manipulated for power, greed, evil, all of these fallen ways. Sorry if I got a little too deep on there, but yeah, I'm just here to, help create this, and Light Leaders, it's going to be a nice cross-pollination of people, and people communicating, and I think we're going to find a lot of people on that same vibe and that same path, I think. So whether one nation gets built or many that are intertwined, different communities, but I feel like us stepping into that divine nature is going to be that unifying nation that gets created.
Amazing.
Very cool. I love everything you said, and I'm glad that this is being recorded so I can rewatch it, because it's gonna give me a lot of content ideas. And I mean, it's basically like what I've been researching as far as understanding the blockchain. I'm fairly new to the blockchain. I'm still trying to understand a lot of it, but as I read more about it and have been reading articles on decentralized cities and the tech stack to create some of these and running DAOs and all those things, I'm like, oh wow, like this is available for us right now. Let's do it. Now it's like, who wants to like join in on one of these? And that's why I was attracted to the mastermind myself, was because I was seeing a lot of the similar values. And I think that within this ecosystem, like one of like, and this is more, I guess, of a personal journey that I would want to do, being that there's a lot of healers in this group. Like I mentioned, like I mean, I've helped people. It's not what I intended to do. I'm not a doctor. I'm not like, that's not really what I do. Like, I don't know. I just kind of read, hang out, do weird experiments in my kitchen with diet, and play with trading cryptocurrencies and things like that. But outside of that, like I do enjoy helping people and teaching health. But I think I also like marketing a lot more. And one of my ideas that I had prior to joining this group was I was trying to think of a way that I could take my approach to helping people heal and restructure their gut flora, and basically teach it to people that are either doctors or healers, and they just want to take their practice to the next level. I'd be willing to like teach them. And so that's something that I want to do within this community, is maybe like work on creating like the marketing system and basically putting together programs. And then anyone that wants to learn what I do, we can go through some sort of like certification program where I can, guide them, and, once I feel that they understand, what I do, and they can help other people, they can go off on their own. But I want to like create that and make that as part of like a value add for people joining our community. And then that's one of the things that I want to make sure that people that are coming on board, that they see that the paradigm here is very different, because Web 2.0, like the old world, it's more about you kind of like work on your own, and you're building all these systems, and you're basically looking to build, and you're kind of like taking in a way. Whereas what I'm seeing with Web 3, the new paradigm, is this is a new economy. It's an economy based on incentives, an economy based on contribution, where you're basically putting in your work into a community, and basically that's where you're building your equity. And like the best examples that I'm seeing with this is with the social media platforms, where social media, people are basically going there posting content, but the only ones benefiting are the platform owners. Whereas in Web3, the new platforms that are coming on board, the creators that are joining those platforms are co-owners of the platform. So as the platforms grow, the creators, the people that are actually creating content and spending time in there, they're actually gaining equity as well, and they're co-creating basically. And it's a whole, like, totally different way of thinking and seeing and, you know, visualizing yourself as being part of a DAO. And so I want to make sure that all of that's clear. And so that's part of what I'm going to be doing with the website. And when I start writing more articles, is to make sure that everyone that's joining, that they have that understanding that that's where we're headed. And those are kind of like the expectations.
Right on. I totally agree with that. And yeah, I see exactly that. I completely, I'm in total alignment with that as well. And I think, you know, Light Leaders is going to be a good group to help people collaborate on different projects, and each person sharing their gifts. Like, it seems like you have a gift in marketing, and I'm sure other things. And, you know, even I think this tokenization is going to be really good, where the people contributing, like that was the vision. It's like you contribute to helping people succeed and in all these different projects, but then having residual income from all these projects that we help people develop. And then once we develop all these different streams from all these different tokens we're holding, then we're completely free. We're not in a week to week, paycheck to paycheck type of mentality. We have just streams of energy constantly flowing to us. So yeah, I think that the Light Leaders group would be perfect for that. You know, people driven more by mission than by and helping people rather than just monetary. I think that's going to be something beautiful that could come out of this. But also monetary would be there to support that as well through cryptos and stuff.
So I see two things going on here, and they're the same two things that Alex started highlighting, because on one hand, we're talking about like the goal of the Light Leaders Mastermind, and what all three of you highlighted is that also along the way, we want to educate people about what we're building. So the thing that's popping out at me, what it sounds like all three of you are saying, is more so we want the Light Leaders Mastermind to be kind of like an education platform where we're working together to build the new earth, but like the primary intention behind the whole process of building is to be able to disseminate and pass out that. Is that kind of
actually that's interesting, because that's also the way the Web 3.0 way to do educational platform is to combine it with tokens and rewarding the people who contribute to it. So I mean, I know that's what you want to do with option C. So I think with the token, there can be smart ways we can use, like having education, but also like making it fluid between education and who benefits from it, and how it gives back to the ecosystem. So it's, you know, it's not like fully clear in my head, but I definitely think, I mean, education, even yeah, whether it's on cryptos or on health and all that, I think it has a place. And also, yeah, then can redistribute some of it to every member, you know?
right. And
I think one way to maybe describe it that might help some, you know, some people that may be watching the replay is it's to think of it kind of like, you know, like if you put a restaurant next to another one, you may think of it as competition, but when you start adding like 3, 4, 5 different restaurants, all of a sudden it becomes a hub where people go to that area for that. And so, you know, Light Leaders could be that hub where, you know, people are coming here to get educated on healing. They can get educated on you know, becoming sovereign and free, you know, using the blockchain. And we're just, you know, we're basically doing that, you know, creating that hub for them, right? And so, for example, and that's kind of like what I meant when I said, you know, once you start to think in this new paradigm way, like for me, like I have only so much time, and that's the reason why, you know, it's not that I don't want to work with people, but for me to impact a lot of people with what I know, I need other people to help me help other people, because I can only help so many people by myself. And so long term, I would rather create a system that teaches other people that are already into, you know, healing and are already learning, because the people that need help the most, I've worked with them and they're at the lowest level of consciousness where they don't really care about their health. And as a result of not caring about their health or paying attention to the food, it's really what's driving a lot of the things that are happening, I think, because they're the ones that are supporting all these companies that don't care about the environment. They don't care about the way food is being farmed. And because of that, they end up sick, which ends up funding all the big companies. And it's just this cycle of unconsciousness that once they wake up, everything will solve itself. But that's a problem, is that a lot of these people are just so unconscious, they're not even aware that that's the issue. So anyways, I think that creating that hub, like an educational hub to help reach more people, it's important. It can be done in the health aspect and the wealth aspect. And then obviously there's going to be the community aspect, which I think we're all going to be new at building decentralized cities and sovereign nations on the blockchain, essentially, as we want to think of them.
So then more specifically, I'm picturing a large section of the website that, for example, highlights like what you do, Jorge, and then without necessarily completely redirecting, but then like I'm not necessarily picturing like all of your courses on the website, on the Lightleaders Mastermind website, but like the fact that you have all of this to offer the larger community being highlighted on the website, right? And then each piece of the Lightleaders Mastermind, it becomes part of that hub, right? That like virtual hub. So someone can go to like a page on our website that would be the same as walking into like that area where there's 10 restaurants.
Right. I mean, it can be like that. It can be just basically kind of like how we're talking, like there could be sub like ecosystems within, because I mean, there's the Lightleaders Mastermind, which I think is kind of like more for us to come together to have like high level conversations. But then we're probably going to have maybe a separate website where maybe a group of us that want to teach health or into healing, we can take specific content more related to that, maybe have a separate website more related to teaching crypto, and have something like that, and then start to create those subgroups where, obviously anyone in the mastermind, if you have skills in different areas, you can go to these different groups, right? That's the beauty of this. It's, you're free to move around and then use that as a platform. Whereas like, for example, like me personally, I may or may not start doing health coaching again down the road. And if I do, I'll probably do it through, the sale of NFTs or whatever. But anyone else that's doing, their own practice, they don't have to do everything through here. But if they just understand that if they use this as a hub, they can use this as their discovery platform. And then if they want to have other events, if they have something else like within their funnel or other products that they have, other programs, that's fine. But that's welcome. But also understand that, hey, the more that we can keep and contribute to the community, the more that we all benefit. So there's that balance. And I think that's part of like letting go of the old paradigm of like, hey, I have my own stuff going on, to, hey, I'm now part of this community. How can I use, what I have, my value, and just add to this community and just go all in here? So it's definitely going to take a shift in thinking. I mean, even for me, like as I think about it, it's like, wow, like that's quite different than what I had envisioned when I started Beer Diet Project, 9-10 years ago.
So I think we got into the details here, as far as like what can be done with having different hubs. I'm part of another group, and they have like guilds of like, here's a marketing guild, health. We can have different hubs, but I think one layer above that is what you were just explaining, is educating people, like that free education, like that base level education of, this is our vision, this is how we envision this new world. Like, it's going to be through collaboration, co-creation, and synergy. This is how we're going to create. And it's like opening up their minds to this new paradigm is going to be that key, is because, light leaders, if we're talking about light is truth. Light is what is. It's information, it's knowledge, it's wisdom. And it's like when we connect and it's love. And it's like when we connect in this, we're sharing this knowledge and information, and it's spreading and growing. It's a network, So I think really getting people there on the same vibe of that mission and vision is going to be the key, because it's going to really unlock people from being like, oh, how can I use this to have me make more money, to, how am I able to, use my gifts in this world and operate in this new way, where we're just using our gifts and creating, and then we're generating abundance from it as well. That's just the gift of, that's the law of giving and receiving. And we're just going to generate lots of wealth and abundance. And, it's a shift in the mindset as opposed to just this money mindset, that we're in now. And it's like, no, we're here to create bliss, and just giving that education and, little videos, I think, would be great on different topics to get people up to speed. Not everybody lives in Bali's and goes to masterminds every weekend like you guys.
So many people tell me that exact sentence all the time. They're like, Yana, you live in a little bubble. The world's not like that.
No, the world can be like that. They just have not been exposed to that. Like, people just have never heard these conversations. You know what I mean? To even know. All people know how to be like is what they saw other people doing or saying or talking about. And that's from people in their lives or on TV. So, people are stuck in their little silos. Like, I've just stepped into different cultures, and the topics that different people talk about is just like night and day difference. And it's just, monkey see, monkey do. They haven't been exposed to, these different concepts. And it's like, let's just give the Cliff's notes on it and get people up to speed. I think it could be done. And I think that's where the network is going to grow so big, where that synergy and that, people helping one another is going to grow really fast.
Actually, you gave me a really good idea, because as you know, I'm loving podcasting, and maybe that could be part of, we could have education, we could have a media, like even here in the community we live in, we're thinking, okay, maybe we film some parts so people can see also, because Jorge, you asked what's the vision of the new Earth, and the future, it doesn't arrive everywhere at the same time. It arrives in places and then it ripples, right? Because for Yono and I, we all like, what does the US look like? Well, it pretty much looks like the life we live here and now, the way we interact with intentional community, the way we talk, the way we can, be with our exes in the same room and still have a lot of love. I mean, there's the way we treat our bodies and health, like a lot of this, we're already living it, to be honest. And what we want is to be able to keep living it to start with, and to expand it also to others. So it is super true that it really depends where we are, but here we're already kind of there. And so first, that's a good realization, and that's also something we can share, document more for sure.
And then I want to circle back really quick, Ray, because I really love the layered approach that you posed. And so the vibe that I kind of get from that is that the education platform of the Lightleaders Mastermind is more like a general education in the direction of the new paradigm, and of like embracing love and light in your life, and more of like a broader kind of like, this is what's possible, this is how you realize it kind of approach. And then the more granular details would be like, for example, option C, or for example, like Jorge working with nutrition, or, more than the more components, like the other businesses that are part of the Lightleaders Mastermind would serve as the medium of getting into the more granular details. Is that kind of what you were meaning in terms of like layers? Because that's what I got from that, and I felt really good about it.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, there's going to be like little groups of different things. Like, so if I need to learn about marketing for whatever business or whatever my gift is to bring into this world, like I have an entire network of people, and maybe each person could have a little video intro of who they are, what they do, or a little profile. And then it's almost like scanning through resumes, and it's like, oh, who would I vibe with? And it's like, oh my God, this guy, we have this, and this in common. Like, let me reach out to him. And then, those synergies come together. You could take his trainings, or you could get personal coaching, or he could be an advisor on your business and gain coins from that. And like, percentage ownership of, I think the value we contribute, we should get that back in a way, like, and I think with this tokenomics that this can be created now, I think this is the perfect place for something like that to be instated.
And then I think that's one of the benefits that people should be taking from this, especially because I believe that this Web3 is coming whether we like it or not, and pretty much every business out there is going to have to adapt and shift. And I mean, we're kind of seeing this is like, how do we go from Web2 websites to building a new website on Web3? We're gonna have to figure all that stuff out. And I think like a benefit of being part of the mastermind is we're gonna be putting together a team to do this. And so it's gonna make onboarding easier to where people are not even gonna have to worry about that technology, because we'll have a team, like someone dealing with the website, someone maybe if we develop an app, have someone that it's all funded by the Lightleaders Mastermind. That's part of like the tokens, right? We have a treasury for that reason. And then we're gonna have people with different skills, like like I'll be willing to do marketing for people that are joining the mastermind, because I understand that, hey, if I do marketing for them, it only adds value to the community, which adds value to the token, which obviously that's going to benefit not just me, but like everyone in the community. And as more people get that idea of like, oh yeah, like I guess it's better if I just do like the one part that I'm good at and let someone else do the other parts that they're good at, and then we are all contributing towards this bigger project. Like it just works so much better. Don't even have to be like, that's the other thing. It's like, you're not even gonna have to be working that much, because as it grows and there's more and more people, there's gonna be a lot more contributors, to where it's not just gonna be me doing marketing, but I'm thinking like there'll be an entire team of people doing marketing. And I don't know, I mean, I think that's just something that I believe people should really start to grasp, as far as like where this is going and what's possible.
Yeah, I like that. Like us evolving essentially into like an onboard ramp to the new paradigm.
Yeah. And then it becomes like a, I don't want to say one hand washes the other, but like everyone collectively helps one another develop their projects to, and they're all going to be generating lots of abundance into these systems, where we could, come together in other projects where we buy land together and build communities and different things. So it's like, everybody operating in their gifts and coming around different projects and helping people, get to the highest point and create efficiently and create a lot of benefit out there, and thereby generating a lot of revenue. I think, we have that collective power, and we are that power. The only thing that limits us is
Oh, the only thing that limits us is your internet connection.
There's one thing that limits us. Listen to me. There's one thing that's going to be very important.
That's the master marker right there, leaving us with a cliffhanger. Now we have to wait. Stay tuned. Video number 2.
All right. What's the one thing?
It seems like his Wi-Fi probably cut out, though. He might not be back.
It's like a marketing, like those articles. The one thing that limits us is.
Yeah.
He's gonna message us also. Pay $100 and you can join.
Find out, get the NFT. Access to the call number 2.
No, but I really like where this is going. So like we're coming together and experimenting. We're in a lab, experimenting with what development of new paradigm ecosystems look like. Then as our ecosystem begins to flourish, we're documenting it along the way and providing education for how we're accomplishing our goals. And then ultimately, as that success generates, moving into an established ecosystem where each of our individual nodes also has something to offer, but that like culminating the experiment, we have a clear kind of like methodology that any new platforms that come into our ecosystem can follow like the trail of our success, kind of. Tell us the one thing, right?
That's the one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing that stops us is this idea of money and like the lack of abundance in physical paper dollars. You know what I mean? We think the money is the energy, but we are the energy. And it's like this idea and concept of money is what limits us. But if we just organize, we are the energy, and we could just reorganize in that state, like it's a mental shift. And that's what I feel like we can educate people into. And you know, looking to build this new earth, we have the energy and the power right now. You know what I mean? I could have $0 right now, you know, but your time, you know, I can, you know, how can I say this? Like I can contribute hundreds of dollars worth of energy into something, and you guys can do the same, like consulting or whatnot. I would have to break it down. I can't really elaborate too much. It's gonna go too long for me to elaborate on that fully.
No, but I'm picking up what you're putting down is that like energy exchange, the medium of energy exchange is only money because we've all collectively agreed to confine ourselves within that concept. Like the medium of energy exchange could be anything.
Exactly. So if I was going to hire to do something like paying you cash, like if I don't have cash right now, it's like, oh, we can't do it. But it's like, you could still help me. I could still help you. We could all still help each other. We don't need a single dollar. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, guys, I should make more clear that these calls are 1 hour. But so if we have 5 minutes left, I mean, I'll have something, then we can keep going. But I wanted to know if Jorge, you have like clarity on more clarity now on the vision and
yeah, I mean, I got a ton of good information, and so I'll definitely be rewatching this call. And yeah, let's put together a type form so that other people watching the replay can add and contribute and share their ideas of, you know, how would they describe, you know, how do you describe like your vision? And maybe one question could be that, like, you know, what's your vision for the Lightleaders Mastermind? Like, what does it look like for you? You know, what is that manifestation? Like the more descriptive they can be, concrete, tangible, you know, something that, you know, kind of like what we did with this exercise where we can like see it in a way where we can feel it. That will really help for, you know, for us to like come together. And I think like that's one thing that I'm like, getting excited about. It's like, wow, like if we can all come together with like a single vision and all start to like just feel it and manifest it, like how much faster that would happen with the whole mastermind principle. Another one would be, another good question would be, what's your like your gift? What's your gift that you're looking to, you know, give to the world? You know, and if there's something that we can do to help make that happen, you know, like where do they need help with? So that would be another good question for the type form. And
so
then
I think the consensus here, Jorge, do you want to connect with me one-on-one in a thread, or we can schedule a video chat and you and me can work together to establish that specific question set? And then with it and the recording of the section where we just brainstormed, we can post that for the group. Like, here's the recording, give it a watch, answer these questions. And then based on that feedback, I'd be happy to work with you to like bring all that together.
yeah, we're gonna have a talk, you know, after the call. But yeah, I think like even just those 2 questions alone is more than enough to get the conversation going and getting other people involved. So that's the biggest. But other than that, I mean, I feel like I got what I needed out of this call, and hopefully we contributed as well.
Yeah, totally.
I would add also, I mean, actually, because we're not all in Bali and in the same place, that's why it's good to have calls, to have them recorded. I think, that's something maybe we can do also when we meet like Josh and Oliver, because we're in the same place, but we want to include people too. And in that regard, I would love also some of the conversation, at least if you feel it's relevant, to take place on Discord. So if we take that habit, then people in different time zones can start adding their own comments. So that would be a little request I'd have, is to help out, get some of those conversation more open and in the Discord. And the last thing for me for Discord, I'd love to know, Raid, if you see like something you'd like to maybe do before the next call, get involved in.
Yeah, I don't know what the different options are of getting involved and where. Yeah. If you guys were saying like on, you guys were mentioning one of the groups as far as the structure, was it? Or I can't remember exactly, but I've just been a little bit. I've got a lot of stuff on my plate, so I haven't been involved in the Discord. I started getting into it, and I'm the type of person that likes to read things from beginning to end, and I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of information. Yeah.
So the Notion will be better to be up to speed. So I'll share that. And then Discord's more like, if you want to join the governance chat, then maybe you just look at that. But if you're not interested in some other, look at them.
Yeah, for sure. This is the second time I'm using Discord, but yeah, I haven't really used it too much. So a little progress.
And then on that note, Alex and Raid, I think that we can keep you up to date, up to speed with our developing conversations with Josh and Oliver too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'd love to be in contact with some of the other guys about some of the crypto stuff, because that might be a separate conversation altogether. But I got some crypto stuff I'd like to be launching pretty soon as well. So
have you posted an intro in the Discord?
No. Are we supposed to? Is it a video intro or typed?
If video is easier and faster, feel free to do a video, but most people just did a little type thing. But we encourage it just so that the community can kind of get a vibe for.
And that's a good thing for the Discord also. I'll repost everything Josh shared in our private Telegram, so it's in the Discord on governance, and I'll try and get Josh to use the Discord too. Like this, we don't have like 100 private Telegram chats.
Nice. And I think on that questionnaire, if you guys want to add, I mean, I would even say like people like creating something like this intro and this questionnaire in one, where you're kind of like developing a bio or profile about, your gifts, what you want to bring into this world, your skill sets, so people can see where there's synergy already, where people have like a little profile about them. It seems like combining of the two. Yeah.
Would be nice for the new website to have a little section with.
Yeah. You could have a picture of each person, their little profile, what organizations they're connected to, whatever. It's a little profile. I think it's going to be helpful.
V1 of the decentralized social media we're putting together.
Yeah, for sure. That's the next project. That's what's preventing the new Earth from coming down. It's like we've been silenced. This mask stuff is not just physical. It's like we've been silenced in the ethereal. Like our communication has been reduced by like 90%. So once we have new tools to really interconnect us and share the truth, this light that you're saying was growing, it's gonna grow really fast. Right now, we're very subdued, and blasted with other nonsense. So,
okay, cool. I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. I want to keep it under an hour just for sake of being able to manage our time well, and also for the recording to make it something easy to digest for people. But then if more conversation can happen, we can set up other things. That's more for that weekly meeting kind of. Is there anything you feel like adding?
I think it's a good stopping point.
Yeah.
Okay. Much love, guys. Thank you so much for your time and good vibes and energy.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well,